Hello and welcome. My name is Tommy and today I'm bringing you a review of the Razer Huntsman Tournament Edition. So without further ado, let's dive in. Alright, so the first thing that I like to talk about is specs. Why on earth would you want to buy this product over another product? I'm going to tell you, there's only one reason to buy this product over any other product, and that is the switches. If you are a competitive gamer that wants the fastest, most responsive switches to give you the best competitive advantage, go buy this. Stop watching this video and just go buy this keyboard. If you're wanting to know more about this keyboard, however, keep watching. So, this comes with Razer's fastest switches, called the Razer Linear Optical Switch. It comes in at 1.0 millimeter actuation force that registers at the speed of light with 100 million keystrokes and a 40-gram actuation. So let's compare that really quick to the Cherry MX Silvers, which are also a linear switch. They come in at a 1.2 millimeter actuation point compared to 1.0 millimeter. The actuation force is 45 grams in comparison to 40 grams, and the lifespan of literally any other mechanical keyboard is 50 million strokes instead of 100 million with this guy. So what in the world does Razer's linear mechanical optical switch actually mean? Well, this isn't the first time these switches have actually been used. Bloody has used them in their keyboards for quite some time. However, Razer just recently bought these and are now using them in all of their keyboards, or probably will be using them in all their keyboards. They feel like mechanical switches, and for this particular keyboard, it feels like a Cherry MX Speed switch, or Silver switch, or Red switch. Linear means that there is no bump or tactile feel. It means that when you press it down, it is smooth from start to finish. The optical part means that they use beams of light, and when pressed down, it completes a circuit through a beam of light, and the light is super fast, which means that it registers quicker than other regular mechanical keyboards. It also allows for better repeat presses to happen more quickly because it's not having to reset a switch over and over again. And then it also has a 0 debounce time, which makes it a little faster than the competition because there's debounce time for the other normal mechanical switches. And then last, there are fewer moving parts, which means longer longevity. And it also makes it more resistant to spills. So if you like to spill stuff on your keyboard, you might want to, keep these in mind because they might save you. They also come with double-shot PBT keycaps. And what in the world is a PBT keycap? Well, they are thicker and more quality keycaps. They feel better in your fingers and also don't break down as fast as other keys, especially the text portion of the keycap, and it also attracts less grease. So in simple terms, it just feels a lot more quality and it doesn't feel as cheap. It comes with a standard bottom row, so if you're into that type of thing of buying custom keycaps, then they will fit a lot better on this keyboard than other mechanical keyboards, as most mechanical keyboards, gaming mechanical keyboards that is, come with a non-standard bottom row. You can also activate 5 onboard profiles. However, you can't save a custom color profile to those onboard profiles, so I don't really understand the point, as most people aren't going to put specific keys on their key set as much as wanting custom colors. So interesting move by Razer there. It also comes with a compact form factor. It is a tenkeyless design, and what in the world does tenkeyless design mean? Well, it means that it comes without the 10-key number pad that's on the right side of your keyboard. Why, you might ask? And that's because gamers at LAN events have a very small area that they're able to sit in. So if you can maximize your space, one of the ways that you can do that is by removing the keypad on your right side of your keyboard. And then also, most gamers who are playing competitively use a low DPI and a low look sensitivity, which means that they're moving their mouse all over the place. And by removing that 10-key pad on the right side of your keyboard, it allows you to have a little bit more room. It's braided fiber, so that's pretty nice. However, it is a lot shorter than your normal braided cable that you get for, say, like your K70 or your Razer Huntsman Elite. It also comes with chroma backlighting, N-key rollover with built-in anti-ghosting, and you might be wondering, what the heck is N-key rollover? That means that you can press every single button on the keyboard and it'll register it. at the same time. You can press every single key at the same time and it'll register them all. It also has a gaming mode option, 1000 hertz ultra polling, and an aluminum matte plate. It comes with a 2-year warranty. So, if you're liking this video, please give it a like. If you aren't liking this video, give it a dislike. And of course, if you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button. So I just want to take a couple minutes to also explain the difference between Razer's clicky optical switch and Razer's linear optical switch, as there's minor differences and some people might be curious about that. So right now, Razer only has 3 keyboards that comes with their optical switches. The first is Razer's Huntsman, and that comes with Razer's clicky optical switch. And then there's the Razer Huntsman Elite, which also comes with Razer's clicky optical switch. And then last, there is the Razer's Huntsman Tournament Edition, which is the only keyboard that they have that comes with Razer's linear optical switch. So what are the differences between those? Well, the clicky switch is clicky, so when you actually press it, you can feel when it activates with a click on your finger. And then it comes in at 45 grams of actuation force, 1.5 millimeter actuation point, where the Razer linear optical switch comes in at 40 grams and 1.0 millimeter actuation point. However, they both are rated for 100 million clicks, and they both have cross stems with stabilizers. So they're very similar. The only difference really is that one is linear and the other isn't, and then that the linear version is slightly faster. And I do say slightly. I really don't think that you can tell a difference between Razer's clicky optical and Razer's linear in the sense of speed, because I think that the 5 grams less of actuation and 0.5 millimeters is not going to make a big difference. So normally I talk about feel at this point of the video. However, it feels like a keyboard, and I really have no idea what else to tell you about that. The switches feel great. It feels very quality in your hand. Because they're so light, you could almost argue that it feels a little cheap, and it is a very light keyboard, so you could also say that that's cheap, but I don't feel any flex in the keyboard. However, when I am flexing the keyboard, it does move stuff, it does press keys, which makes sense because that actuation force is 1.0 millimeters, which means it has to move like nowhere at all to actuate anything. So it is one of those that if you drop it on your desk or something, it could activate a key if something goes down, just to let you know. So, but other than that, it feels good. It's got an aluminum plate on the front part here that makes it a little more premium, I guess. And on the back, it says For Gamers a whole lot. And then it has a little Razer logo right here that you can see, so at least the branding isn't much. And then as you can see, it's obviously upside down because I don't have a whole lot of room. Can I make this over? Okay, there we go. As you can see, you don't have a lot of room up here on the top either or anywhere else, so which is nice because if you're buying this keyboard, you're wanting it to be compact, and this guy is very compact and it's very light. And on the back here, you also have your double option to actually, go up slightly and then even more. It's really hard to do this without pressing buttons at the same time because you don't have a whole lot of places to grip. Then it comes with nice little grippy spots here as well. So all of that stuff is a good thing. It feels good. It doesn't move around on your key. Yeah, it feels like a keyboard. It feels like a keyboard. So moving on to the pros, where I feel like I'm just going to continue to repeat myself. It's got linear optical mechanical switch, which is the fastest switch on the market, and it feels great. Yes, you just said that, Tommy. Good job. It's got a compact tenkeyless design. Good job. You also just said that. It's got a USB-C cable that feels good, and the location is great. It's on the left side of the keyboard there, and you just very simply can just unplug it like that, and then you plug it back in. You're good to go. It's also got limited marking, like I was just saying, except for the bottom here, it just says For Gamers a million times. And then the Razer thing, like I said, there's not a whole lot of difference there. And then it's got solid build quality, and the FN key, I just want to show you that real quick. It's this guy. When you press it, it activates a whole nother thing. So you've got your play, pause, volume up, brightness, game mode, etc., etc. Your pause thing, put your computer to sleep over on the left-hand side there. And then this little guy, if I can actually do this because everything that I'm looking at is reversed, if you press this, this is your profiles. So when you press that over and over again, it will actually, if you have different profiles, it will change the color of the rest of these. So right now it's white, so say I had another profile on there, I'd click that and it would turn red, and then I could click it again and all those keys would turn blue. So that's nice, and then that also allows you to have as many, you could set all those keys to totally different things by pressing that FN key and pressing it. So that's really nice. Let's move on to the cons. Because there's a lot of cons for this guy, surprisingly. It doesn't come with a carrying case, and since you're supposed to be carrying this to LAN events, it's kind of surprising that it doesn't come with a carrying case. Suppose they just want you to use the box, which is fine because it's a solid box and it's easy to put it in there, so I would imagine that that's what they expect you to do is just use the box. It's also incredibly, ridiculously expensive. It's also got a very loud switch. It's the loudest switch that I think I've ever used, even though it's linear, which most of the time is quieter, so it's kind of weird. It's got very light actuation, which is both a pro and a con, as some people will think that that's pro because you're getting the fastest speed and the most responsiveness there. However, it also makes it so when you're typing that it's very, very easy for you to accidentally hit other keys, or if you're resting your hands on your keyboard, it will activate sometimes, or like I said, if you drop your keyboard or you're banging your keyboard, it can activate a key because it goes down just enough. So it's one of those that, like, it's a mixed bag. It can be a good thing or a bad thing depending on how you're looking at it. The lighting is also very subdued. So Razer is known for their RGB, and I am very disappointed with the RGB. I can't show you the different qualities just because I don't have a camera that's high quality enough to capture the nuance that my eyes can. But it's one of those, especially for like whites, they look a little red, where with like my Huntsman Elite, they look white. And it's just everything with my Huntsman Elite looks nicer regarding the lighting. I think that's possibly because the double-shot PBT caps don't allow as much light to shine through it. I don't know why that would be the case, but that's my assumption there. And it's also just not as accurate. Once again, I think it's because that PBT, like when I change the different colors, once again, I can't show you because I don't have a camera that's high quality enough for that. Quality, like the color is not the same on both keyboards, even though I'm using Razer keyboards with both of their, like, you know, flagship optical mechanical switches and stuff. And when I'm looking at the switch itself, it looks like it's the same exact switch, so it's just kind of weird that there's some difference there. But I even noticed that if I put like my other keycap on top of these, that it wasn't as nice. So it's not as bright. Anyways, I've spent way too much time talking about the lighting, so let's move on. It also just doesn't come with a whole lot of extra features, especially at this price point. It's a niche product because most people aren't wanting a non-10 key design. It's going to be a very specific group that's looking for that. And I also would have preferred a longer USB-C cable to be included because I have a really hard time even reaching this from my desk, and it's not that far away. So it's got a very short cable. On the bright side, you can just buy another USB-C cable that's longer, but I would prefer to use the one that's stock with it. But I would also imagine they might have made the cable shorter for those LAN events so you don't have to deal with as much cable with your little tiny setup. I also have had some problems of the keys getting stuck or the software malfunctioning, or I think it's software malfunctioning more than anything. But it's one of those, there's been multiple times that all of a sudden it'll just keep pressing a key that I'll have to plug the keyboard, and then there's also times that I'll plug the keyboard back in and it'll just crash my whole computer. So it's one of those, I've had a lot of problems with the software version of this. A lot of other people also really don't like Razer software, and I don't blame them because it's very good, but it's also buggy, and there's a lot of things to learn and take in from it. And the most ridiculous thing that I've ever seen in my life is that you cannot save a custom color to your keyboard and take it somewhere else. You have to have Razer Synapse open in order to have a custom color on your keyboard, which is ridiculous because literally, I swear, every other keyboard on the market that is RGB, you can put your own color that you want on the keyboard without software. So it's just ridiculous that Razer doesn't allow you to do that. So hopefully they'll work on that and get that added, because there's no reason why it shouldn't already be on there. So moving on to the conclusion, the only reason to consider buying this keyboard is for the switches themselves, as they are superior to any other switch out there if you're going strictly for speed and performance. They are the fastest, they are the most robust, they have the least amount of travel time, and they are the most accurate. They feel almost exactly like Cherry MX Speeds or Reds or Silvers, however, whatever lingo you want to use. However, they're a lot louder than MX Speed, Reds, or Silvers. I even think that they're louder than my Razer Clicky Optical switch, which a lot of people think are one of the loudest switches out there. So if that's not a problem for you in your environment where you're going to be annoying people, then that's good. And I think for like normal gaming, you're good. But also almost if you're having a microphone that's close to it, if you're a streamer or something like that, it could pick up more of your clicks just because it is quite loud. Or maybe that's just me. Maybe I just like to slam things. I don't think that that's the case because I don't ever do that. But it's one of those that they're very loud. It's the Razer Huntsman Elite TE. The Corsair K70 MX Speed Switch. All right, so this is the Huntsman Elite. The overall build quality for the whole thing is solid, and it's very portable, which is a good thing because that's kind of the whole point with these. However, if you aren't buying these for the switches themselves, there are a lot of other options out there that you can get that are just as good or slightly better depending on what you're looking for. As for this price point, you can buy a normal keyboard, a normal gaming keyboard that has a 10 key on the side and has fast switches and stuff like that. Or you could buy literally any other tenkeyless design that's out there. So like I said, if you are not buying this for specifically the Switch, or you're a diehard Razer fan, I'm going to say it's a pass. But if you're really excited about Switches, you're wanting to get the absolute best out of your performance, then this is going to be a good one for you to buy, as it's going to give you the best competitive advantage. Are you actually going to be able to realize that real world? Only you can decide. I do think that anytime you're able to minimize your lag in as many places as possible, the better chance you have of being more successful, as humans are actually really impressive and are a lot faster than most people realize, especially when you're at that upper echelon of things where their reaction time is, 150 milliseconds or less, 130 milliseconds for some people who are freaks. So if you're able to, and people can register that difference of 20 milliseconds, so if you're able to, get multiple things that shaves off milliseconds at a time, it could give you a competitive advantage. But is this specific keyboard going to make you a better gamer? That's up to you to decide, because the science and the performance is there, but it's up to you to fully maximize that. Anyways, that's the end of this video. If you liked this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a dislike. And of course, if you've been following my content for a while, please do hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. God bless, and I will see you and your beautiful face on the next one. Peace out.